at it, the process is both technical and political, of course, guided by the law. It requires a lot of goodwill for some of those political goodwill for the timeline to be met. Now, from where I sit, since we already have a commission, and really the IEBC, the problem was credibility and trust from specifically the court side of the political divide. So I think since the process has already commenced, it is good that, as somebody once said, democracy requires vigilance, that all the political actors who are interested do not keep their eyes off, so that, because that pressure helps to ensure that we are on the process. Status quo at times, there are people who are beneficiaries of status quo. The people who are not happy to see the changes. So I think in my honest view, it is good the media still keeps a focus on this issue, because our politics has been a major problem. That's why everyday headlines is about politics. The day we sort out our politics, which of course includes the institutions that are involved in the political process, IEBC being at the center, because you talk about nomination, you know, all the political. So until we have a political hygiene, you actually are likely to continue seeing headlines in our media houses being politics. And of course also Kenyans are very political. So in my honest view, political will is important. It is good that we will have new commissioners. The only issue is when, and as I say, if we sustain the momentum and the pressure, that is also a positive to our democracy.
Of course, ODM and CORD had insisted that Isaac Hassan and his team have to vacate office by the 30th of September. Now, we're seeing the possibility they'll still be there by the first week of December. Any problem with that? Do you think, are you satisfied with the timelines as they are now?
Yeah, the truth of the matter is that, you know, under the law that we passed in Parliament, our hope was that the President would sign it instantly. Yeah, because you remember we made no change, whether comma, full stop, so that the President has nothing to be taken through in terms of considering whether there are issues he can refer back to Parliament. Yeah, but that did not quite happen. The President got receipt of the bill a bit late, and then the President only assented to it on the very last date, which was the 14th date. So we essentially lost you know, 3 weeks in the process. But of course the other processes are now running. The institutions that should be giving us members of the panel that should be, you know, instituting the new IEBC have identified their people. And you know, this new law says that immediately they sit, those people nominated to the selection panel will go ahead and identify their chair and vice chair, and of course within 7 days they must advertise, you know, put up an advertisement inviting qualified Kenyans to apply to be commissioners of IEBC. And after that, the law does not, Fred, tell us how long they need to undertake interviews, shortlisting and interviews. So that essentially my view is that with goodwill from both sides, I think by the end of this month we should have new commissioners. Now, what we were against in terms of the behavior of you know, the outgoing commissioners was the idea that they appeared to be mortgaging public office. You know, if you are in the situation, Fred, of Isaac Hassan and his colleagues, there is nothing you can be doing in that office now, because you know you are going. Our agreement out of the negotiations by the Joint Parliamentary Select Committee was that they leave by 30th of September. Even if it was myself or it were myself in their shoes, he would just be occupying that office for the sake of it. So I'm very happy that the President has now, you know, gone ahead, because the law, having been delayed, entered into force on 4th of October, which I think was on Monday. The President has gone ahead to declare the positions vacant. What does that mean? In fact, as it is in law, Isaac Hassan and his team are not in office. So let us not, you know, speak as if they are still in office.
I think Kaluma, no, from a corporate governance perspective, let me speak as somebody who served as chairman of States Corporation. I remember our term came to an end on the 25th of October, but the new commissioners were, the new members of the board had not been appointed. From our corporate governance perspective, now, Kaluma, politically, I would want to hear your perspective. I think institutional memory is important, and that's why when we talk about political will is not, it is the determination to see the right thing happen and take place by those who are in decision making. And when we talk about those who are in decision making, I look at the president, of course, as the head of state, but also head of a political group or divide. You also look at the code leadership, the principles, the agreement that since we are all interested in the greater good of this country, there is nothing wrong in ensuring that her framework is established to ensure that before the new commissioners come in, you know, institutional memory is very important. Yes. So what did I do? Even though there was no new chairman, I actually stayed on without even, because I did not perform any duty, but it was important to stay on, that if you need any advice, if you need any liaison between the authority and the minister at that time to expedite the process, I actually stepped in because I felt that it was, from a corporate governance perspective, it is important to do not allow any vacuum, and also to inspire the team that was there, that truly even before the new team comes in, and handing over. By the way, you saw University of Nairobi, that process between Professor Magoha and I think Mbidi, the current Vice Chancellor, is very important from a corporate governance perspective. And that's why it is important to speak to Kaluma and the team to see, since already they have resigned, they have demonstrated they want to go. Of course, the process, we may not have agreed on some of the things that happened, but institutional memory, corporate governance demands either the chair and the vice chair stay on for in the interim until a new commissioner.
Would you have preferred that probably only Isaac Hassan and maybe one more commissioner stay on until we get new commissioners, or the entire team remains?
Fred, on the side of CORD, any memory that could be called institutional memory from Isaac Hassan and his team is bad memory. It should disappear. You know, the manner in which IEBC is structured is such that the commissioners, under the law we passed, the commissioners are only going to be dealing with policy and strategic direction. The actual day-to-day operations of IEBC is on the Secretariat. And remember, we've left the Secretariat intact for now, though we have issues with so many individuals. We were saying we don't want to go so far because we value that which my brother is calling institutional memory. The day-to-day operations are with the CEO and that entire team of staff, and we are not touching any for now. So I want to wish Isaac Hassan and of course his colleagues well in their future endeavors. On the side of CORD, it was not out of Mary that they are leaving office. You remember, Fred, people died. We have others we are treating today. So we wish them well. They delayed leaving. They should not hang around. What we are against is a situation where they were last time, before the president went and declared this seats vacant. The situation of saying unless we are given immunity from criminal action in future, we are not leaving. Unless we are paid such an amount, you cannot use a public office as your tool to negotiate anything. If they have any problem about their pay package and others, there is the High Court to settle those issues, including employment rights. So I'm happy they are leaving. Let us move forward. In terms of moving forward, Fred, let me request the team that has been proposed by the institutions which were establishing the panel. I know the CORD side has given to, the Jubilee side has given to through the Parliamentary Parliamentary Service Commission, and of course I know these religious institutions or organizations have also proposed people. On the average, I see very good people. May I request them on national television to ensure that at the end of the process, the 11 people they'll be giving the president, any of those 11 can be a commissioner without any Kenyans thinking this guy is unfit, this guy is improper, this guy is partial. Let us have Kenyans, 11 of whom can all be commissioners. And then I just want,
Kaluma, I appreciate one thing, Fred, here. There's usually the Kaluma, the advocate, Kaluma, the politician.
Today, who are you seeing today?
Okay, I usually allow him to speak. I am able to deduce which Kaluma is speaking. I think I appreciate Kaluma from, and that's why I pointed out from a corporate governance perspective. If truly there was enough political will, remember our celebrated son, let me say son because of how we said Barack Obama, they ran a very bitterly contested primaries in the Democratic Party together with Hillary Clinton. And you could even at some point, some things were said that you could actually, if you remember Hillary Clinton at some point, the way she spoke about Barack Obama, you could not say, why are we saying this? But when all that was said and done, they at one point sat down and Barack said, we have been through this process together, and approached her and told her, will you be the #2 diplomat representing the country? Hillary Clinton even now confesses that it was a difficult decision, but when it came to the country, we needed to be on the same side. We espoused the same political position, the democratic ideals, and they worked together. It's actually a borrow up from Abraham Lincoln. It's called the team of rivals. If you remember, today, yes, Barack Obama, John Kerry, Hillary Clinton, and Joe Biden, they've all at one point contested to get the tickets for the Democratic Party. They are all working together under one administration. And I believe, even from a political reading it, America today is stronger by these guys working together. What am I pointing out? I believe Kaluma, now speaking to Kaluma, the professional, if we know that for the good of the institution, it's always important that that transition is managed. Today, we are able to look forward to the day when former Chief Justice, Dr. William Mutunga, would actually have a briefing together with the incoming, possibly if Parliament approves Justice Maraga, and that is important. There are things I can tell you, speaking, having served in leadership, that only the person who sits on the seat would actually be able to brief things that are on beyond the briefing papers, that these are things to watch, these are the issues, and to wish them well. That is important. You remember Professor Ndung of Central Bank had the same session with Dr. Njoroge and it was actually even pasted on the media. I can say, I do not know how this can be solved politically, but you always require that transition. I know it might not be Tenelo Kaluma from a COD or an ODM perspective, politically speaking, but if we tone down our emotions and we look at what is in the best interest of this country, I believe managing the transition will actually be very critical for the good of the next election and also for the good of this country. Our national anthem that says, let's all unite and build this nation together. I don't know, at times, you know, those are the ideals we need to espouse.
And of course, Bwana Kimosop has been accused of sounding very idealistic at times.
You know, is good, and is a very balanced gentleman. You know, what he's not answering is, what is this institutional memory we need from Mr. Kassan? Everything in terms of their thinking have gone into the laws. Remember, even when this committee of, you know, Rengo and Kiraitu sat, the very first team they had, individual by individual, are in terms of what do you believe is this we should be doing as we move forward our electoral process, as we improve it. So what is this memory in terms of having gadgets
and that's what Kaluma, I spoke to you.
We can consult the
and I think that because I think we've exhausted that one, and we need to allow one more person to join the panel, and that is nominated MP Isaac Mwaura. He'll be joining us shortly. But before that, a quick look at the headlines this morning away from the IEBC matter. And of course, even on the Standard, we have that TA